All right, it is 7:32, October 20th. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. President are Brad Yerkes, well, via telephone or Teams. Mary Daly, Brad Yerkes. We have a couple of guests. Here are Rob McCarthy, Dimitri Tolchinsky. All right, we got a short name down. John Blick and Brian Cornell, and myself. I can have John become a full voting member tonight since we are minus our contingent. So he'll be voting tonight. First thing is to approve the minutes of September. Does anyone have any comments or suggestions on those?
I do. This is Mary, if I may.
Go ahead.
In the minutes, thank you. In the minutes for September, you noted that, was it Corey? I guess asked a question about alternatives or what we had done as a subcommittee, me in particular, as an alternative to sewers. And you felt it was important enough to put it into the minutes. We answered that. I provided an answer. I think John provided an answer. Dennis provided an answer. None of the answers made it into the minutes. If the question is important enough to make it into the minutes, I think the answer should be too.
Okay. I don't write the minutes. I comment on them. So do you have an amendment to these minutes that you'd like to make?
Well, yes, of course. When, after the question was asked, I responded that we had brought in Dave Potts, that we looked at Clinton and Old Saybrook and a couple of other surrounding towns. We looked at Stonington. We looked at other states. We looked at alternatives that are now legal and accepted by DEEP, that are more affordable now than they were 15 years ago and do a better job of reducing nitrogen than they had back when this project was first started. And I would like that to be included in the minutes. Thank you.
Is there a motion? Are there any other comments? I'm not quite sure that actually. I have to go back and look.
Here in September, so.
Make a motion, we accept Mary's amendment. Is that what the word is for it to be? Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Same.
Okay. All right, so there'll be a response added to this week's minutes for last month.
Thank you.
Not hearing any more. I haven't been. I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Make a motion.
Second. Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. Okay.
Abstaining again.
Budget and expenses update. Andrea couldn't make it tonight. The budget information is generally the same as it was before. The one thing that you all may want to look at or review is our CWF funding that Mary Daly had requested. Not much to see there. We borrowed about $555,000 or so. Let me try to pull it up. I sent it out in the Can I see that from? I'm sorry, we've borrowed, well, our costs on the project are $524,595 right now. But we have a contract with Woodward and Kern for 615. They just haven't been paid yet, and we're trying to figure out why. Those bills should have been paid a while ago. Of that, $131,148.75 for grant money, leaving us a loan balance of $393,446.25. And on that, we've incurred $12,240 of interest. Which would bring, the total to around $405,000, $46,000.
You can keep it, you will need it maybe.
I have the other, I just didn't have that. Are there any questions on that? Right, that's money we owe, whether we go forward with the project or not. That's money that has been spent, you know. So we've incurred about $405,000 so far in debt. Are there any other questions on the budget? I mean, I know I didn't give a very good one. The numbers really haven't changed much since last month. Not hearing anything, I'll go to chairman's report. I have a lot, guys, I'm sorry. CSA status. The CSA is in final write-up, final review, with our attorney. And as typical, I haven't gotten it when I've requested it. Over the past month, we've met with the beach associations and Jim Lampos, who's representing the town of Old Lyme, to hammer out the final portions of this agreement. Old Lyme Shores was very active in giving their comments this time around. The agreement really hasn't changed much since before. It's a lot of wording, a little nuance. Some things are just like legalese things that we're letting our attorneys go through. One was the town wants to be indemnified by Old Colony, and I don't understand exactly why, since Old Colony is the one taking on all the risk. But I don't, that will not go through with the beach associations or Old Colony, so I don't know the end result, but that will be probably one of the major sticking point. But besides that, the rest of the documents relatively cleaned up and ready to sign. But about the CSA status, this CSA is a revision of an already signed, duly executed CSA between the town and the beach associations. That document indicates that the town of Old Lyme is responsible 29.7% of the shared infrastructure. There is no out clause. There's no, if you don't go through with your project, you don't owe the money. It's a CSA that was signed back in 2020, I think. The first select woman does not, I don't think, recognizes the authority of that document. She said that DEP won't go forward with awarding the contracts to beach associations without a new CSA. I've been told by DEP that that is exactly what they're considering, is giving $15 million to the beach associations to fund the infrastructure portion and eventually having us hook up, but we would not get any of that $15 million. The time to move this project along is now. It's not in 2 months. Once the beach association signed a contract, that money's gone. I've been told that. So that's $4.25 million of grant money that we have nothing for, that will be gone, will have to be borne by the taxpayers of Old Lyme. Hook up, because that's really taking up part of the cost of assessment, and you can't assess more than the increase in the value of the property. So it's something to think about, but it's a contingent. I have a letter from Martha, email, that lays out a whole bunch of things that she wants that we have to do or bring this to it. As you're aware, the town hired a financial analysis to HRT advisors to look at how much this project will cost. She wants those numbers discussed and approved by this commission. This vote should be reflected in the minutes. Now, I don't know exactly why we have to approve any of Count's numbers, but they coincide with mine, as I will show, so I don't have a problem with it, but they're just, the hard numbers are the hard numbers. Those don't change. It's all the unknowns that are up to anyone's estimate. She indicates the cost sharing agreement should be finalized by the beach associations. It pretty much has. Then the cost sharing agreement should be sent to the town attorney for review and language cleanup. That's what's ongoing now. We'll have one more time to review it. It comes before the board of selectmen for approval so that she can sign it. The sewer ordinance should be approved by the BOS at the same time. Sewer ordinance is done and submitted. Once the CSA is approved, the WPCA can request the referendum be sent out. The BOS and BOF approved the request. This sets the clock in motion, but the plan must be in place prior to. I have spoken with Martha about this, and now they're saying that the earliest that we can have a referendum based on tabulators. Our tabulators are locked until November 24th. Municipal recount will most likely be held on the 10th or 12th of November. The 11th is the holiday. They're all willing to work together to make this happen. They're looking at sometime in January for a referendum, which is too late. So I did not accept the reasons because it seemed kind of crazy that you need tabulators. So I called the Secretary of State's office and spoke to an attorney, Lewis Button, from the Secretary of State's office. Dear Mr. Tsunami, it's a pleasure to speak with you as well. In answer to your questions, first, there is no requirement that tabulators be used for a referendum. That is strictly a decision to be made by the municipality itself. The municipality may choose to use the tabulators, but then we also decide not to use them. Second, essentially, yes, any tabulator used in an election must be locked down for 2 weeks after the election. Then it may be opened and used for something else. Of course, if a tabulator is used in a November election, it would not necessarily be ready for use exactly 2 weeks after. The tabulator must receive a new memory stick, and any ballots must be vote tested to ensure that everything's working properly. These things are not likely to cause significant delay. I do not wish to point out that the tabulators may not be ready exactly 2 weeks. So there is another method to having a referendum, and it's a paper ballot. You go in, circle yes or no, and you leave, and you count the votes. You don't have a machine count, you actually count them. I've discussed this with the registrar of voters. She seems adamant that they're too busy to do that, and my position is that they're here to serve the town needs, and you're talking about $4.5 million or $4.25 million. I would think that they would try their best to get this done so that we can have a referendum and not lose out on that money. But I don't make that call.
Steve, I just remember, since I've moved here in 21, I remember it's at least using one paper ballot for, I think, a school board budget in 21 or 22. I remember doing paper. So it's not like it hasn't been done in years and years and years.
I discussed it with Martha, she said she'd get back to me, she says, they don't like that attorney, they were gonna get another opinion from another attorney.
What
I haven't
timeline
got,
do you think is plausible at this point, though? And just because there is the elections, obviously.
there is election, so I think in December.
Okay.
Which would get us in before, yeah, I believe that Deep is willing to sign contracts in January. With the beach associations.
Speaking of which, if I may, I've been trying to follow where the beach associations are and their review of their bids that come in and that sort of thing, and sometimes I feel like I'm falling off a cliff listening. Are they all squared away? I don't think they are yet.
Well,
It's-
all I
it's
Shores bid last week,
Yes.
2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
the 9th.
Yeah.
Their numbers came in within their referendum amount, or within their resolution amount.
Mhm.
So, as far as I know, and I know I spoke with some people, they are pursuing going forward.
Okay.
They have questions about what happens to them if the town backs out. So that's the big question from all the beach associations, is what happens if the town backs out? They've done calculations, if they get all the $50 million, it's almost a wash for them. Without it, it would probably cost them another $200 a year, each resident in the beach associations to fund it. But if they get all that money, it's not that much more. DEP says they need at least 3 people in the project to award it. Old Colony, Miami Beach, Lime Shores, as far as I can see, are 3. I think they're being pretty upfront with us. I don't think they're lying. I don't think they're trying. I think that they want us to put this in. I've been told it's still important. Out of all the beaches down there, they feel that Soundview is the worst because of population density, because of how low it is, because of high water table. And said the pollution problem doesn't go away.
Pollution problem. So may I ask, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but may I ask along that line, has Miami Beach increased their bond? Because I know their bids came in higher than what they had bonded for.
That's the same.
They didn't increase their bond, they reduced some of the other scope, outside scope. The sewer actually did come in within their bond, it's some of the other stuff. And now I believe they're looking for other funds to do their drain pipe on their storm sewer, which is like $2.5 million. But the sewer did come in, within their scope.
And the paving or without paving?
With well, I don't know if it's full pavement or not, but there is pavement in there. I think Old Shores, I think, is gonna go with full pavement. That's how much lower they came in at. I don't know about, well, I think that Scott said he wouldn't do full pavement if they weren't going to do all their drain, they would do it at the drain time. So,
So is Scott
So-
considering, are they considering not doing storm water management over there then?
I don't quite know, Mary. I know they're looking for funds. I know that they are pretty set on doing sewers. I don't know what else they're set on doing. I'm not, I don't not a member of Miami Beach, so I don't quite know. I'm just giving you what I know, and that is that they've reduced the scope, i.e. some of the drainage, to get that referendum in so that they can do their sewers.
Hmm.
Right, so the next, the results of the accounting form, this is a separate attachment. This was presented at the Board of Selectmen a couple of weeks ago, and I called up the day's attorney, not attorney, reporter, because I felt that he misrepresented all the numbers. So I want to go through his numbers and my numbers. So from my presentation to the town, my numbers were $1,936.76 for finance fees over 20 years at 2%. $230.66 for hookup fees to East Line in London. And then I had a range of $382.52 to $564.52 for user fees. That gave a range of $2,552.94 to $2,734.94 as a yearly fee for 20 years. After that, it's just the user fee. But that's the range. So they hired an accountant, an independent accountant. He went through some of these things. He did a risk analysis of carrying contingencies. Low risk was less than 5%, medium risk 5 to 10, high risk 10 to 20. Construction contingencies should take into consideration unforeseen site conditions, material price indications, design modification, and weather delays. Connection charges, property owner's cost to connect. That's not included in that because we're not responsible for those numbers. I don't include the property owners. I know it's a cost, don't get me wrong, but it's not, it has nothing to do with the WPCA in their analysis of how much this project is going to cost to construct on a group basis. The end results were that the total construction and connection charges at a 5% contingency was $22.41. Now, I did not know that the first bidder on the pump station backed out, which increased that number $855,000 on the pump station. So I was using a figure that was off, but I'm sorry. So the infrastructure was $20,010. 2010. The infrastructure portion is 2010 versus my 1939. So I added about $70 to that 855,000 added about $70 per year per user. His connection fees to New London and East Line amounted to $231. I had $230.66. So that number was pretty close. And then he has a statement that he just used DEP's figure of 564.52 because it's estimate. And who better know how to estimate that than Deep? I mean, so his figures came out with a 2% with a 5% contingency. 500. He had a total of 2241. I had a total of I had a total of 2170, and he had a total of 2241. If you add the 564, we'll go with the highest amount to each. You got 42 on my side, 4, 13, 1, 7. You get 2734 versus
2806.
2806. Okay, I have 5, but all right. 2805.
I went through the numbers too.
So it's about a difference of $65. I think that, number one, I think that, so the article of the day said that, the account's numbers was $1,100 different than mine. $1,100 different, and I think that's, misleading, to say the least. So Martha wants us to vote on these numbers. I don't know what you say, but I would say, I guess what I would like is to say that in all future correspondence or presentation, we should use the accountant's figures of 2805 total yearly cost to the residents. I mean, we're voting on you know, the hard numbers are the hard numbers, those are easy to figure. I don't know what she really wants us to vote on, but.
Which includes the annual O and M fee, right? Is what was part of that.
Yes, yes, the 564 includes the O and M fee and all that other stuff. Which Carlos believes will be lower, but. That's what the accountant presented. I feel fine about endorsing it. I'm happy that his numbers came very close to mine. And that, Martin seems to be a little wrong in his calculations.
When you talked to the reporter for the day, what was his reaction to how you felt about?
You said I should have been at the meeting to argue.
There was a,
That was it, because I had a half hour to publish a report. I just put down what they said. Said it's not in quotes. If it was in quotes, then that's a different story, but. That's what it was. So, I think what Martha wants is an official number. And so I think we should use or craft a motion that has the official number of costs at $22,805 for, which includes all user fees, hookup fees, and construction costs. Financed at their respective rates.
Just as a side note too, I also listened to the Board of Selectmen meeting. And I also read the letter and just, it's an important point. This guy, Mr. Merritt, who was at the referendum, well, was at one of the meetings, the comment from the accountants was that they couldn't verify his costs and they couldn't verify Jim Lampos's estimated costs. That Jim's comments, he had concerns, but he couldn't quantify them. So I mean, I went through all the numbers and I listened to the Board of Selectmen meeting, and the 2805 is close to all the numbers you had.
Does anyone want to make
Yeah,
a
looking
motion?
for a motion then, say go with 2805.
I'm looking for a motion to go 2005, that it's an estimated yearly cost to each resident of 2805, which would include O and M, connection fees, and construction costs.
I would
Financed at
say-
the respective amounts.
I'm not arguing the amount, but the statement per property, because as you know, we have 270 EDUs. So there are several properties that are going to pay more than one
Per
EDU.
EDU. Per EDU.
Yeah, so we
Thank
need
you.
to clarify that and make that clear, that the 2,805 is per EDU and not per property.
That's correct. Thank you very much, Mary.
Yeah. I think people get confused with that, since the correlation with the 3 private beach associations is a 1-to-1 pretty much. And we are the only exception for the most part that has extra EDUs that have to be paid. So we need to make that clear to everyone that it's not per property.
Correct. It's per EDU. So when we
Mhm.
make the motion, make sure it's in EDU format.
Make a motion that we go with the accountant's numbers of 2805 per EDU. Which includes the annual O and M, the connection fees, and construction costs.
At the respective finance.
And the
And
respective-
I'll second the motion.
Very good. Is there any more discussion on that?
When you present it to the public, I just think that in all fairness, you should also stipulate what's not included in that EDU, which would be the hookup fee. I'm not sure if the maintenance contract with East Lyme is included in that. Whatever you feel is not included in
Right.
it, which should, let me just finish for a second. Whatever is not included in the EDU should be stipulated, so everybody knows what's on the table. Thank you.
Anything outside of your property is included.
Because, right, the connection fee is included,
The
which is
connection
what a lot of that was, that just not the construction.
It's not the hookup fee, it's not your private contractor that goes on your land to hook you in.
I understand that, Steve. I just want
Anything-
everybody
any-
to understand the same
Mary,
thing.
anything outside
I
of your
do
property.
understand what you're saying. I'm saying that we need to make
Oh,
that clear
because you
to
keep
everyone.
repeating
Thank you.
yourself.
Because you're not listening, but okay.
I was answering your question.
Oh, God. Let me mic myself, please.
So, is there a second? Was there a second? Yes. Is there any more discussion? All right, let's call for a vote. All in favor?
I,
I can't vote. I'm sorry.
As an alternate.
I'm sorry, Brian. I thought that you're sworn in now too.
Okay,
I thought, I get lose track on who's an alternate, and who's not. Are you an alternate?
I'm an alternate.
So you can vote. Brian votes yes. Mary,
Aye.
Brad? Brad,
He's muted.
He's unmuted now.
Brad, unmute
I'm not
yourself. And affirmative?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay. Thank you.
I said aye.
Motion passes, 6-0. Unanimously. All right, that's great. I touched upon this, all I'm sure is bid results, came in favorably. It looks like they're gonna go forward with it. And they had, some good numbers. Project status, the project status, I think is for us is in a critical stage. I believe the beach associations are gonna go forward with it. Beach is going to allow them to award the contracts. I think they're going to sign. Beach will give them $15 million to offset some of our costs to get that project in. And I believe Deep will also pursue forcing the town of Old Lyme to go forward. Now, people can say, well, give us an example of when. I don't know when. All I'm saying is the statement was the pollution problem doesn't go away, whether you do the referendum and pass it or not, it's still there. So I don't think this situation is going to go away. I think in 20 years, it's going to be more expensive. I think in 10 years, it'll be more expensive. I think this is the best deal the town would ever get, 50% of costs being paid by the state. I don't understand I don't understand why pushing it off a couple of months makes sense when there's so much at stake. But, I'm not in the leadership role. The referendum status is basically what I've said. I believe we can have a paper ballot and get this done much sooner than June 10th. I've been told by town registrar and town selectmen that, sorry, the tabulators are taken. And we're busy. Okay. There's an item here, actions of committee members. So I just want to remind everyone here that this is a forum to discuss water pollution control. And while sometimes people may be heated, I would like to leave personal comments and insults out. There was a member in September's meeting that was told that they live in a swamp. And I don't think that I don't think that has anything to do with what we're trying to do here. So it came in response to saying, I had to put a specialized system in, it cost me $60,000. And the response was, well, you live in a swamp. There's no, that's not that's not, I don't want to run a meeting like that. There's no reason to say that. And the guy, I mean, I don't agree with that behavior, and I'd like people to try to watch what they're saying. And the last thing that I have is that I've spoken to the beach associations and Jim Lamppost about how to go forward after this project is built. Jim's insisting on sound view representation. The CSA is cluttered with ways to get sound view representation in, because someone from this WPCA supposedly would not represent Soundview like someone in Soundview. I disagree with that, but regardless, it was something that I agreed to with Jim because I need the CSA done. So I talked to Jim and I brought this up probably 10 months ago. I wrote a letter to Representative Devin Parnham, asking if he would consider writing legislation that would exempt the municipality, or I think it's the municipality requirement or town requirement, to form a regional WPCA. I didn't do it on the sly. I sent that letter to Martha, Jim, I think everyone here. People thought I was trying to do an end run. I wasn't. I was just trying to think of the best mechanism to run that system after it's built. I believe that if the town would back having a regional water authority, it would solve everyone's problems. Number one, it would be made up of Soundview, Pine Shores, Old Colony, and Miami Beach. They would have say over their whole system. The town doesn't have any of it. The town wouldn't own it. Soundview and Area B would own their portion. They paid for it. We wouldn't own it. It would have all the protections of state statute versus a corporation or some other governing body. They would have their own meetings and they would run that system the way they felt they should. That is the way to run that system. I would also, if I had to throw it in, I'd actually include Point of Woods also, but Point of Woods is not part of that system, but at least you'd only have 2 water authorities instead of 5. We'll see where that goes. The CSA the CSA started out as a cost sharing agreement. You're gonna pay this much, you're gonna pay this much, you're gonna pay this much. And people started getting into, well, what are we gonna do afterwards? So they started throwing in O&M. It became an entangled. It became entangled, and there's still no governing body except for the construction committee that can continue as an O&M body after it's built if nothing else is in place. I fully believe something else will be in place long before the system's done. And I believe wholeheartedly that a regional water authority is the way to go there. Are there any questions? Right, not hearing anyone. Not hearing any. I went out of line here, but the vote still stands. New business was to vote on HRT. That's why you're surprised. We've already voted on it in chairman's report, so. All right, I would like to discuss hiring a different attorney for the WPCA. I've spoken to Mike about this. I've spoken to a number of people about this. The WPCA is different than other commissions in town. And as the CSA and other items have come up, it's apparent that if you're not aligned properly, you have one attorney working on a document that some people may want changed and some people may not. So when we go to our attorney and say, I want this done, and it sits there for 2 months, and I say, why isn't it done? And I hear, I have to talk to Martha before I do that. I think that's a conflict of interest. Because I can't get the work done that I need. And we're paying him out of our budget. On the converse side, when Martha calls up for anything WPCA, all those bills are invoiced to us. When she's inquiring about the town, how do we develop a budget for attorney's fees if we don't know who's using them? I think it will be time in the near future to look for a different attorney. To avoid any illusion of a conflict. I haven't been able to get much out of this attorney. Jim called him, and 2 days later, he got what he wanted. It just seems to me that it doesn't, I don't think we're on the same level as some of the other commissions that are in the town. We're a semi-autonomous body in town, so, or at least according to state statute. So, I think I would like to discuss having that, and I'd like other people's opinions. If anyone wants to chime in.
Who's the attorney right now?
It's Sussman Shapiro.
So I have a few questions, if I might. In terms of cost, how would that attorney be paid? Would all of that be charged back to the project, the sewer project, or would it come out of the town budget? That the money that the town gives the WPCA for their operations? That would be my first question. And second, it actually sounds like, this WPCA still serves under the Board of Selectmen. We are not independent of them. We are appointed by them. And therefore, it sounds like you're trying to circumvent their authority by going around them with a different attorney. And for myself, I don't approve that. Thank you.
Okay, so it would be paid for out of, only the stuff that we ask our attorney would be paid for out of our budget. Right now, it's whatever we ask and whatever the town asks is charged to our attorney.
Right. That
It
is
would be-
paid
if
out
we
of
had-
the
if we had
town.
If we had a separate attorney, the town couldn't charge to our account because they're not a client. They'd have to go through their town attorney.
So you do understand that the town sets the budget for the WPCA? And that they allocate, I don't know what the difference in the cost would be if you went out and found a different attorney who wasn't already doing a work for the town. I don't know if the town attorney is on a regular retainer or what. I don't know what the difference in the price would be. But I do know that the money that you use for this comes from the town taxes. And so I do think that both the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen have control over that.
They do, every year.
Okay.
Every year they approve our budget, and in it is a legal fee.
Mhm. And they would have to approve, therefore, that if you wanted to hire a different attorney, I would think that the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance would have to approve that expense.
They might, no, not the expense. They already approved the expense, Mary. We have $40,000 in this year's budget for legal fees. I don't know how much the town is gonna use of that, but we have they set aside $40,000 for legal fees. I think it's 40.
Okay, I've said my feelings, so I'd like
Okay.
to hear from other people.
Well, I'm going to say that, it seems like our selectmen now, and we do have an election coming up, things could change. Seems to have a lot more power in telling people what to do and how to do stuff. It doesn't sound like it's really a democracy in some ways, and that's just my own opinion.
That was Brad, right?
That was Brad.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there should be two separate attorneys. I mean, this is a separate organization within the town. And we should have an attorney that is an expert in WPCA's, not just general township rules and regs. And I think that person would be able to fight certain things and get certain things done. And do the heavy lifting. And if needed, I mean, the town attorney could look at it,
But the town attorney look at.
well, it looks at it, yes,
From the town's
from
perspective.
town's point of view, right?
How many dollars, Steve, do you think have been taken from our budget by the town that we may or may not know
Over $10,000 last year.
over last year?
Over $10,000.
Yeah, this year, oh, yeah.
Well, this year started.
Given the way numbers are.
This year started late
Oh,
July. but,
geez, yeah, okay.
Probably not, nothing that we paid.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe we got paid, so. Well, I just wanted to get on people's minds about the different, conflicting or possible conflicts that can occur using one attorney to accomplish something that may have two different goals.
An interesting concept. What are the tripwires though? Gotta be something up there someplace that we're gonna fall flat on our face if we try to.
Well, so if there is a regional water authority,
Mm-hmm.
they would budget money in their O&M for legal fees. And they would have their own attorney.
Mm-hmm.
We probably wouldn't even need an attorney at that point. Then there is there's no conflict, because this is probably the most controversial thing that the WPCA is gonna do till another one comes up, but and right now, I don't know of any, make that clear, the DEEP doesn't know of any region that in town that they would look at like Rogers Lake. They're not looking at Rogers Lake. But I've been pretty frustrated this year, and then to say that, then to say you've had all this time to work on the CSA, and I can't get the CSA from my attorney until a select person calls them up to request it is aggravating. So no more comments on that. Discussion of approving and authorizing signature of revised CSA subject to minor changes. Can't do that because our attorney didn't get it to us, he told me. Discussion to send the sewer ordinance to the town for a vote. Does anyone remember if we had a formal vote to send that to?
I'm sorry, could you
think-
repeat the question? You're breaking up a little bit.
Does anyone remember if we had a formal vote to send the sewer ordinance to a town vote?
No, we never voted on that.
I think we did.
I thought we did too. I want to reaffirm that though. I want to have a reaffirmation vote in case.
2020 or 2021.
That's what I think, but there's been some changes to it. The big one being Jim's change, which states that future sewers in the town will be self-funding. Meaning, you can't use tax money. Right. That was a big change. So,
For sure. It did.
I'm pretty sure you could change your ordinance if you had enough votes. So, but the intent is,
But it didn't go to town. Didn't move further.
it hasn't gone
It
further.
didn't go, it needed to go to a town meeting
Correct,
and get approved at a town meeting.
correct, and
It
that's what
didn't go that far.
I'm looking for authorization to send that to a town meeting.
Because if we don't,
Well,
then we trip over.
I'm looking at the website here. It says all residents are invited to provide written comments received to this
We've
proposal.
already gone through that.
We
All right,
we did a public hearing.
All
We
right,
did the public, we've done everything, John, the only thing
Here.
we didn't do is send it to the town.
all right, okay, so way before my time. All right.
Yeah, which one, because when was that? Or-
This was April 22. Yeah.
Perhaps you want to table that until you have more regular members from the WPCA available to talk about it.
No, we're not gonna do that, I don't think.
Okay.
So. The proposal is. The proposal is the same as what we, actually, it is what we reviewed. We reviewed the ordinance, several months ago. Probably 6 months ago, last spring,
You did send it back.
and that is the document. I think that's what,
Because we did the public hearing. So
yeah.
that's when out of the public hearing, when it was,
But I brought this up at another meeting, hold on.
We get a copy of that document for those of us.
I think everyone, I think we discussed this past year, I'm almost,
I thought
Right.
Henry sent it out.
May I ask, I know there were several suggestions or requirements, changes to the ordinance that the selectmen were requesting. Have those been incorporated?
yes,
Okay. As long as those are incorporated. I didn't think they
So,
were,
this
but
is,
I'd have to go back and read the ordinance again.
these are the
Okay.
proposed changes that were made. Paragraph 2.4. I don't even wanna go into that one. It's about a building lateral. Paragraph 3. All right, I'll say it, but I don't want any discussion on this. Building sewer lateral means the extension from the building drain to the connecting point at the municipal sewer main. The individual property owner is responsible for the lateral from the building drain to the property line. Paragraph 3.1. At the reasonable discretion of the town of Oline WPCA, all houses or other buildings used for occupancy, employment, recreation, or other purposes situated in the town's designated sewer district and abutting on any street, alley, or right of way in which there is located a public sanitary sewer within the town's designated sewer district shall be required to connect to the WPCA sewer system, and that the connection shall be made at the expense of its owners in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance. Any property having access to the municipal sewer shall be subject to a benefit assessment, even if it's not connected to the municipal sewer, since it receives the benefit of this utility. Connecting fee will be charged when the sewer property is connected to the municipal sewer. The owner is required to respond in writing of their intention to comply. Building sewer laterals located on private property are owned by the owner of the premises served. The owner of the respective premise is responsible for the maintenance and repair of the building sewer lateral to the property line. The owner of the building sewer lateral shall keep sewer So keep such sewer in good repair in order to not cause excessive infiltration or inflow of groundwater, damage to property, or harm to the low-lying WPCA sewers. And each paragraph 10.1D, each violation of the ordinance shall be separate municipal offense. Each day, any violation of this ordinance continues shall constitute a separate offense. Each separate offense under the chapter shall be punishable by a fine of $250 a day payable to the online WPCA. And then there was Jim's comment about any new sewers will have to be self-funded.
Could you read that comment, please? Jim's comment,
Which one?
Jim's.
Jim's.
Jim's
I'm looking for it.
stipulation. Thank you.
Jim's comment. Any expansion of the designated sewer district or any creation of a new sewer district must be self-funded by users of the new or expanded district. No property owner within the current sewer district will be financially responsible for any new sewer construction outside of the sewer areas as currently defined in this ordinance. The users of any new sewer project will be 100% responsible for its construction, financing, and ongoing funding of operations and maintenance, less applicable state or federal grant funding.
Thank you.
Welcome. So those were the changes that were made. Really, Jim's is an addition. The others were just clarifications on definitions for the most part. So I would like a vote to send the ordinance as it's been amended to the town for a vote. I don't know if it goes to Board of Selectmen first. I'd like a motion to start the process of getting the sewer ordinance to the town for a vote.
Take a motion.
Thank you, John.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
Is there any further discussion, Brad?
Yeah, I'm just, I just wonder with the election coming up, it's just a timing thing. And I know we want to get this thing going, and it's just such a late thing. If you could elaborate a little more on that, how that could affect.
Sure. So when we vote for a referendum, the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance aren't voting for the referendum. The Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance vote to move the referendum forward to a town hall meeting in which the town votes whether to go to referendum or not. And so I would like to have the ordinance approved for that town hall meeting so that they can approve the town hall meeting and then approve the referendum. And then I think it's within 7 days, no later than 14 days, the referendum has to occur.
All right, that sounds makes sense. Perfect.
Even all my notes that I've been collecting since I got on this board, I don't recall seeing that document of the ordinance itself. Is there a way I can get a copy of it from somebody downstairs somehow? So I can read it? I understand what the amendments are that you read.
Yes, the short answer is yes. It may not be downstairs because it's not approved. It's not an official document. But I have to look for it. I have it somewhere on the computer. It's just gonna take me a little time, Brian.
Mary, do you have a copy of that?
if I have a copy of the ordinance?
Yeah, as, yes,
The
Yeah, I do.
proposed new one, or proposed
Yes.
amendments.
I have a
Well,
draft
just-
copy that we reviewed a couple months ago, yes.
All right, so hold.
I can
hold
send
on.
it to, I can send it to you, Brian. Oh, what, you better get it from Steve.
yeah, let me check with Steve.
Well, I mean, I can send the one that we're proposing. I'll send out the one that's been marked up with the comments in it.
That's,
All right.
I just,
It's
without,
somewhere. I just don't know where it is right now.
okay,
But I mean, it's a completed document. Jim has blessed it. Everyone's blessed it as far as the people that have comments.
so if Mary has it, is it okay if I get a copy of that, so you don't have to do it, or
Well,
I don't.
I'm not
I
sure.
doubt if she has that one because.
Oh.
I don't have
last
the one
I
that he
handed out,
has.
We're incorporating the comments I read.
Oh,
But you can,
So, yeah.
you're more than happy to get it from Mary.
yeah, at least that way I can
Sure.
read the gist, because I got.
You can read it out loud, too.
Finding things,
It's very similar to what I want.
and I gotta use my computer, oh no.
But you can get it from
Mary, can
Mary.
you send it to me, please?
Mine is not marked up with Jim's comments and any additional changes.
At
Mine is
least-
the old
at
one
least it'll
from
give me the gist of
2020.
it. It'll give me the gist of it, Mary, if you could.
I
Steve doesn't
certainly
mind.
can. As long as
I
Steve
don't
doesn't
mind.
mind that I send you a document, I'll be glad to send it to you.
Thank you, Mary.
You can send it to him.
I owe
Oh,
you a coffee.
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Or cold water. Thanks, Mary.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. Is there, that's the end of new business. Is there any old business?
Sorry, I have one old business if you don't mind. At the last WPCA meeting, Steve, you said something about value added to properties and in particular to vacant lots that today would not be buildable because they don't meet the square footage or can't support a septic system, et cetera, and that they would be buildable if sewers went in. So I sent you that document earlier today. I'm not sure if you saw it.
4
From
o'clock, yeah.
yeah, 4 o'clock. Sorry for the delay, but I had to find it myself. From clean water funds that stipulate that you cannot do that. If
No,
if
it
the
doesn't say
project,
that, Mary. It says they wish,
Okay, all
they
right.
wish for it not to happen.
pardon?
It says they wish for it not to happen. Doesn't say you
Uh,
can't.
Okay, I think
But-
that is a legal question that should be answered
But-
by an
So
attorney.
Mary, we've gone through this. The WPCA has gone through this. And to a degree, I agree with you. To another degree, I can't. Because what we were told is that zoning is the people that determine whether they can build on the lot or not. So if zoning says you have a sewer going through, you have the minimum square footage for a building lot, it becomes a building lot. And we debated this over 3 meetings, back when we all read that. And there's no solution. If zoning says you can't build there, then it's not a building lot. But if zoning says you can build there, it's a building lot. The WPCA has no control over zoning. That is
Okay,
why those lots are included.
I think it is a complicated question. The document from Clean Water Funds is also very complicated, a little convoluted in what they're saying. But they do set the law and, okay, I mean, I'm just saying that I thought it was an incorrect statement to tell people in public statement that if your lot wasn't buildable in the past, it could be buildable in the future with sewers, because that document says you cannot do that with clean water funds.
That's not true, Mary. Let me pull up the document and read what we
Thank you. Yep,
highlighted.
pull it up, pull it up. So you can probably find it faster. UPA.
All right, so it says. General intent, whenever possible, sewer lines will be sized and routed to serve only existing structures and to avoid providing potential for service to underdeveloped properties in environmentally sensitive areas. In some situations, however, it is impossible to reach the existing developed properties without running sewer lines adjacent to underdeveloped land. Implementation. In general, the criteria which we have been using to evaluate the implementation of this condition has been the following. If the property is not developable at the present time, that is, if an approvable conventional wastewater disposal system cannot be constructed to health code standards on the property without any variances to the state health code, then it is our intention to avoid providing the property owner with the means to develop that otherwise undevelopable property. In nothing says that they can't. It's their intent. It's the Deep's Clean Water Fund intent to limit development in properties. But it doesn't say you can't. And when we discussed this, I even believe we had our attorney look at that and said, well, we questioned how this is enforced. Because we don't have any control. The sewer, WPCA has no control over zoning. If zoning says you can build on the lot, you can build on that lot. That is why we put them in as assessable. And until it's lost in court battle or something, they should be charged because they will be a buildable lot according to zoning.
Right, okay, so we had determined based pretty much on size, I think, or what we thought the size was, that there would be 9 lots that potentially were buildable that would be charged 1 EDU. But what you're saying is really that determination isn't by size per se, it's by zoning. And so
No,
really
it's by size. Zoning says you need, I think, 10,000 square feet or more to build. So that's the zoning.
But there is
I
the
think-
ZBA also.
Well, this is EBA too, but I'm just saying that right now, down there, it's zoned, I believe, 10,000 square feet to build.
Uh,
And you need a variance
That's
from the health department to build.
yes.
What I'm saying is, once the sewer goes through and there's a lateral available, they can build there.
I would say 10,000 square feet or larger.
Yes,
You're right,
yes,
but it could be even less.
it could be even less. In that case, we would have to charge them if they were able to do it. But I'm just saying, right now, looking at our current zoning laws, there are 9 properties that are 10,000 square feet above that will be buildable according to our zoning when the sewer goes through.
And there are also restrictions. What size could be 10,000 square feet, but it could be very narrow
Right.
and you cannot build. So you should go through the ZBA.
Well, that would be, that would be the property owner asking for. What to bring up. To fight us.
If you
I
want
can't
to
build on
know
it.
exactly, you can
It's
ask.
1 foot by 10,000 feet long. I can't build on it, so I can charge it.
If you want to know
Small
exactly, you can give this list of those properties with 10,000 square feet or larger to the zoning.
I think that's all posted now on our website.
They could
And
determine,
they could go and look at it and see
Yeah,
if they wanted
yeah.
to appeal our decision to charge them.
Okay, my last question, hopefully for tonight. You know, we had this whole accountant based everything on 270 EDUs, which we were at, but with the bus stop, and we do need to make a formal motion to remove the bus stop and to drop down to 269 in the process.
Well, until all the numbers are checked, I would hesitate to do that. I'd like an exact, I was trying to contact Rob's, I think I used Rob's. but, I realized that it didn't appear to me as though you and Dennis used a formula to figure out your EDUs. You
Pardon?
actually, did you use a formula or did you add up the kitchens and baths?
Oh my God, we went over this a few times. Of course, yes, we presented a formula. Everyone looked at it. We
No,
distributed
No,
it.
no, I'm sorry. Did you, to do the calculations, were your EDU values calculated or were they put in after you calculated them in your head based on the formula?
Calculated in my head. No, we came up with a algorithm, not based on dollars because you said not to. We ignored, with that algorithm, we ignored the appraised values because you said to ignore them. And we just came up with, trying to get the majority of the properties, as you stipulated, to be one EDU. And that was the goal. And then we added on for the, the multi-use and the commercial. And then the developable lots that we thought were developable, but still needs to be confirmed by zoning. And that was the whole thing. And we presented it like 2, 3, 4 months. I'm not sure what your question is now.
My question is the, go ahead, please.
Did you use an Excel function to do the calculation, or did you add them all up by hand based on how
No,
you felt
I
they
used
fit
it.
in?
No, I used Excel.
It's the big
I would
Excel
never be
spreadsheet.
able, it would take me like a year to do them all by hand. No. So you should be
Well,
able to,
I actually, Martha kept asking me for that, and I did not have time to validate, the data in there. I thought I saw some, discrepancies in
yeah,
that worksheet.
well,
So-
there could be. There could be. I'm not saying there isn't, but we kind of went by what the assessor gave us in terms of properties and what was on them. Not everything is recorded by the assessor, by the way. If you're a mixed property, she doesn't really record, or commercial, she doesn't really record the number of bedrooms and bathrooms and things like that. She just does square footage at that point. So you're not going to have 100% of all the information you need. So yes, certainly go ahead, take it apart, do it do it over, do due
Well,
diligence,
I
look
don't
at
want to do it over. I don't want to do it over,
Well,
Mary. I just want to,
we told you when you voted on it, that there were problems in it, that there were errors in it, and, we tried to stress that at that time, and
well, I think what you
Guys-
stressed is that you want to base it off an appraiser's, you wanted to base assessments off of an appraiser's evaluation. And the WPCA felt it was fair to come up with a formula to determine how to equitably assign assessments. However,
Yep.
I'm not saying that, the only reason I asked that is because you want to change it down to 269, but if there are more errors that you seem to say there could be, I want to verify that the information is correct. We might be at 280. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, you might, you're right. There's errors
Right,
in there
so
that we
to
know.
formally go down to 269 without checking the data is one EDU, which is about $10 a person over 20 years, or $10 an EDU. I mean,
It's $60,000.
I would
but yeah,
rather,
go ahead.
I would rather verify the information that's in there before, quote, finalizing it.
Okay, go ahead.
What is important is that the formulas have been finalized. So now it's
Yep.
just a calculation.
Right, okay.
The last one I see was
It's fine by
April
me. Go
3rd.
ahead
I've
and
got one from
verify
April 3rd,
whatever.
that spreadsheet.
Hmm?
I've got a spreadsheet from April 3rd. I'm not sure if that's the last one you did or we reviewed, but
That's the last one.
I'm happy to have somebody else take it and run with it. It's fine.
So, all right, but duly noted. Thank you. Let's see. Correspondence. I got a letter from Kelowna Concrete. I asked Jason to reach out, Woodward Curran, to reach out to Joseph and see if they wanted to extend their bid price with no additional penalty or inflation. And they did that to the end of the year. So if we could pass a referendum, we could sign a contract for the value that was bid 9 months ago, which is unheard of, but they're willing to do that. And then I already read the letter from the selectmen, so that is it for my presentation or meeting. Does anyone have anything to say before we go to public comment? All right, public comment? If you're
Yeah.
online, please unmute yourself and state your name and address.
Steve, could you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Bill Randazzo.
Okay, where do you live?
52 and 56 Hartford Avenue.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just got a quick synopsis of this, and if you could just follow me for a second here. A lot of the beach community get upset when voting happens in the middle of November, December, January, these referendums. At this point, it probably wouldn't make a difference because the whole town's going to vote on it. But what I think I'd like to suggest is you send out ballots to each homeowner that's in that beach community, Soundview, so they could actually send their vote in, because a lot of them
Well, that's
are not
illegal?
able to make it.
That's illegal?
It is.
Yeah, you would have to request an absentee. You can get an absentee ballot. You'd have to request it through the absentee ballot process.
Okay.
But we can't just send out ballots.
I apologize. I was just trying to make a suggestion to make it fair to the people that are there, because a lot of times people either go on vacation or go away and go down to Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ask for an absentee ballot.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the absentee ballot like that. But if that's illegal, then it's illegal. We can't do it. The other question I have
I want to be
here.
clear. Hold on, Bill. Bill, I want to be clear. You can vote by absentee ballot, but you have to
No,
go
I
through the
understand.
procedures to get. Okay,
I just have to request my ballot,
correct.
and they'll send it to me, and I could send it in.
Correct.
The other question I have is, it might be a little mundane right now, but we went through a bunch of numbers here earlier, and I know you guys voted on it. I believe you voted on a 2805 number, but we went from 1936 to 2241 to 2285 to 2805, and I was getting a little confused in that whole bandwidth of numbers you're going through, and I'm trying to figure out what's included in what and what's included where. I mean,
Let me
why
break it
did
down
we-
for you quickly, Bill. About
Okay, I appreciate that.
$2,000. About $2,000 is for construction costs, finance construction costs over 20 years, 2%. Another $564 is for O&M, just to maintain the system and do whatever you need and have money in the bank to maintain and operate that system. Another $260 a year is for connection fees to New London and East Line combined. And that's it.
So that $500 would be your sewer assessment charge for what you're.
That's your own, that's your user fee. That would be a user, and that's an estimated user fee. I've been told that it's high.
Okay.
I believe it's high, but I don't know. I mean, it's all.
No, it is. I got it. I understand now. I understand it. That's just what I was looking at. It wasn't in the original number, so now you guys are tying it into that, which is okay. I understand now. That's not a problem.
All right. I want to be clear though, what I did in my presentation is I presented a construction cost, a tie-in fee cost, and an estimated user fee cost. Those did not add up to $1,936. Those added up to 2,740 or something like that. I mean, the number, I was $60 off from what the accountant estimated. So
Yeah, I mean, it was still a small amount, yeah.
I just want, maybe I should be clearer in my presentations, but those, all those costs were addressed. But maybe they were not.
No,
addressed.
I understand they were addressed, but well, I guess you have your sewer assessment costs. So whatever that landowner or homeowner uses, you have it tied into that too. Is that
Not
correct?
the assessment. The assessment's a straight value off of EDU.
No, not the assessment. The
User fee? User fee, yes. So the user fee, there'll be a portion that is going to be based on flow, and there's gonna be a portion that's gonna be based on operating expenses.
Okay, well, okay, the one that's based on flow, that's the amount of usage you're using. So
Correct.
would that come under 2%?
Would that come under 2%?
No, I mean, you got a total bandwidth of what you're getting from the government and what the individual household is gonna be paying, right?
Now you're losing me. I don't quite understand your question.
All right.
Oh, are you saying
You
that,
have-
does the 2805 come under 2% of the median income for old line?
Well, no, let me back up. The overall project is gonna cost X amount of dollars, whatever it's gonna cost. Each individual household is gonna get charged, or each individual EDU is gonna get charged a proportion. You have it at 2805. In that 2805, right, you have a usage fee where your gray water or whatever water you want to call it goes out, right? And you have that fee in there too. Am I
Yes,
correct?
yes.
But what I'm asking you, since that's not part of the construction and everything else, that's not part of the 2% that the state is going to give you.
Correct. That's a yearly fee.
That's a yearly fee. So
Yes.
I'm not sure how you guys worded it in your statement, whatever you're going to be doing. So, I mean, the user fee shouldn't be counted into what your EDU is. Because your EDU is what you're actually paying on, right?
Thus why I separated them out, but
No, I understand it.
For this purpose,
When
Bill,
it comes down to
for this,
yeah.
and I'm gonna say something, I'll give you the last word, but that'll be it. For this purpose, this is an estimate of about what people are, if someone comes to me and says, I paid 2806 instead of 2805, I'll be upset. This is an estimate based on numbers. Some of the numbers are very strong and real, but even a contract cost will probably be less than what we signed the contract for. We're going to save a lot of money. I don't know how much, but instead of double walling pipe at $925 a foot, we're going to be putting in pipe at $225 a foot, plus the Ferncos. There's a huge
Big
savings
difference.
there. So
That's
it's just
massive.
an estimate.
That's a,
To be clear.
no.
for Bill,
Steve, I know what you're
he
saying.
wanted to see it that way.
But my original question is, just so everybody understands, is we really don't know, well, you really do know what your estimated actual EDU is. So you have to pull out that part of the disposal, because that is not going to be counted in what the state gives the homeowner at 2%.
Okay. Thank you very
You know
much
what
for
I'm
your
saying?
comment, Bill.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yep. I
It
appreciate it.
wasn't to be argumentative, it was just try to clarify, that's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that has a comment? Please unmute yourself and recognize.
Hi, this is Sally Ann Whitowitz, 310 Swan Avenue. And I don't have any comments, just letting you know I'm here.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. I think that's exhausted all our people. No, is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? Not hearing any, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Most meeting adjourned.
I'll third it.
What you do?